Have you ever sat at your desk after a meeting with your manager, looking at your notes and thinking, I have no idea what they actually want me to do?
Yeah, we have all been there. Or even worse, you see your manager walking toward your desk and your mind immediately goes blank because you don't know how to share that a project is running late.
Exactly. Welcome back to Business English for Success. I'm Anna.
And I'm Thomas. It is so easy to just stay silent and hope for the best at the office, but that usually makes things worse later on.
It really does. That is why we are talking about this today. We want to show you practical ways to talk to your manager when you receive a vague task, when things go wrong, or when you simply have too much on your plate.
No complicated textbooks today. Just real corporate talk to keep your communication calm, clear, and professional. Let's get right into it.
So, Thomas, let's look at the very start of any project. You enter the office and your manager hands you a brand new assignment. But there is a huge problem. The instructions are completely unclear.
Right. Like when a manager says, Anna, I need you to launch the new marketing plan next month. Make it look good. And then they walk away.
Yes, that is exactly what happened to me during my first year here. I felt so nervous because the assignment was way too broad. I did not know the budget, the target audience, or what success even looked like. My first reaction back then was to just say, okay, I will do it, and then spend days at my desk guessing what the manager wanted.
And that is where most people make a mistake. When you just say yes to an unclear task, you waste a lot of time working in the wrong direction. Then, when you show the final result, your manager says, this is not what I asked for.
Exactly. But on the other hand, you cannot just run back to their office and say, I don't understand your instructions. Can you tell me what to do step by step? That makes you look passive, like you cannot work on your own.
Well, the best way to handle this is to ask questions that narrow down the project goals. You want to show that you are ready to take responsibility, but you need the right data to do it well.
Let's listen to how this conversation actually sounds in a real office meeting.
Anna, I want you to head the new regional product launch next month. Let's make sure it reaches a wide audience.
Thank you for trusting me with this project, Thomas. I am glad to take the lead. To ensure we are on the same page regarding the final goals, could you share the specific numbers or targets you want us to reach for this launch?
We want to see a clear increase in active users in the local market, maybe around 15% by the end of the quarter.
That helps a lot. I will focus the plan on that 15% growth. I will draft the initial schedule and send it to you by tomorrow afternoon so you can review the direction.
Perfect. That sounds like a plan. Let's review it tomorrow.
That felt so much better than just guessing. Did you notice what happened there, Thomas?
Yes, it was very clean. Instead of asking a broad question like, what should I do? You used a specific phrase. To ensure we are on the same page regarding the final goals, could you share the specific numbers or targets?
Right. When you use the phrase on the same page, it means you and your manager have the exact same understanding of the work. And by asking for specific numbers or targets, you help your manager give you a clear standard of success. No more guessing.
And look at how you closed the conversation. You did not ask Thomas to do the work for you. You said, I will draft the initial schedule and send it to you. This shows you are taking ownership of the task while giving your manager a chance to check the direction early.
It saves so much time later on. But Thomas, even when you start a project with clear goals, things rarely go perfectly. What happens when you are halfway through your plan and a sudden problem outside your control stops your progress? How do you tell your manager that a project is delayed without sounding like you are just making excuses?
Oh, that is a big one, Anna. Reporting a delay is probably the most stressful thing for any employee. Nobody wants to walk into the manager's office and deliver bad news.
Exactly. Most people handle this by doing one of two things. They either try to hide the issue until the very last minute, hoping it will fix itself, or they run to their manager in a panic and say, everything is going wrong, the partner is late, and it is not my fault.
Yeah, pointing fingers or hiding the truth never works. If you hide it, the problem grows bigger. If you just complain and blame the external partner, you look like you lose control under pressure. Managers do not hate problems, but they do hate surprises.
That is very true. A strong professional knows that a problem is just a fact that needs an answer. The best approach is to share the issue early, keep your tone calm, and present two clear solutions along with the bad news. This changes the conversation from a complaint into a decision-making session.
Let's listen to how Anna handles a sudden delay with Thomas. Thomas, do you have 2 minutes? I want to give you a quick update on our regional launch preparation.
Sure, Anna. How is the timeline looking?
We hit a small delay with our local shipping vendor, which might push our launch back by 2 days. However, I already reached out to an alternate supplier who can deliver on time for the same cost. Alternatively, we can keep the current vendor and adjust our internal testing schedule to make up for the lost days. Which option do you think is better?
Good catch, Anna. Let's switch to the alternate supplier. I prefer to keep our public launch date exactly on time.
Perfect. I will coordinate with the new vendor today and send you the updated schedule before I leave.
Wow. Anna, that was an excellent way to handle a difficult update.
Thanks, Thomas. It really changes the mood in the room. When you share a problem this way, you use a very specific phrase. We hit a small delay. However, I already reached out to...
Yes, that word, however, is very helpful here. It helps direct the manager's attention from the bad news to the solution. You did not just throw a problem at Thomas and expect him to fix it. You showed that you already did your homework by finding an alternate option.
Right. And notice the question at the end. Which option do you think is better? This is the core of professional communication. You do not ask your manager, what should I do? Instead, you give them clear choices. You remain the owner of the project, and your manager simply helps you make the final choice.
It builds great trust with your manager. But you know what happens when you do a great job solving problems, Anna? Your manager starts to rely on you even more.
Oh, I see where this is going. They look at your empty desk and decide to give you another major task right when your schedule is already completely full. How do you tell your manager that you are running out of time without sounding lazy or uncooperative?
The reward for doing good work is always more work, Anna. This is a classic office situation. You look at your calendar, you have back-to-back meetings, your current project needs full attention, and suddenly your manager drops a fresh, urgent assignment on your desk.
Yes, and it feels so heavy. Most people make a bad choice here. They either say yes immediately because they want to please the manager, and then they end up working until midnight, burning out and delivering low-quality work for both assignments.
Right. Or they get upset and say, I am way too busy right now. I have no time for this. That sounds very uncooperative. It makes the manager feel like you cannot handle pressure or that you do not care about the team's urgent needs.
Exactly. But a true professional does not just say yes or no. They take ownership of their time to protect their schedule while remaining helpful. Instead of rejecting the work, you accept it conditionally by putting the choices back on the manager's plate. You show them your current workload and ask them to help you organize the priorities.
Let's listen to how this conversation plays out between Anna and Thomas.
Anna, I know you are working on the regional product launch, but I need you to review this new financial report by tomorrow morning. It is very important.
I would be happy to help with that, Thomas. Since I am currently finalizing our main launch plan today, should I pause that task to focus on this financial report first? Or would it be better to handle this report right after we finish our launch steps later this week?
The launch plan is our top goal right now. We cannot delay that. Let's keep your focus there. I will ask another team member to look at the financial report instead.
Thank you for understanding, Thomas. I want to make sure our main launch gets the best result possible.
Wow, that worked out so beautifully, and nobody got upset.
It was a great example of professional communication, Anna. You did not say no. You started with a positive phrase. I would be happy to help with that. This immediately shows you have a good attitude.
Right. And then, instead of complaining about being tired or busy, I simply laid out the facts, using the phrase, "Since I am currently finalizing, should I pause that task to prioritize this?"
Exactly. By using that specific structure, you made Thomas realize that adding a new task would hurt the main project. Managers want results, and when you show them that their new request might damage a larger goal, they will gladly adjust the schedule. You made Thomas make the decision, so you never had to say the word no.
It helps you manage your workload better. And because we managed our time well, our regional launch has brought great results. The work is done, the goals are met. But our journey is not finished yet. How do you present your final report to your manager to make sure they recognize your hard work, while opening the door for your own growth and promotion?
This is the victory lap, Anna. The project is complete, the launch went well, and you finally have a moment to breathe. But this is exactly where many people lose a great opportunity. They just send an email with the final numbers, say thanks everyone, and then close the laptop.
Yes, that is such a missed chance. Or some people just wait around hoping their manager will notice their hard work and say thank you. But the truth is, managers are busy. They might see the final result, but they do not always see the effort you put in or how much you grew during the process.
Exactly. If you stay quiet, your hard work stays quiet too. But on the other side, you cannot just walk in and brag about how great you are. That feels arrogant.
Right. A practical approach is to use the end of a project as a bridge for your next steps. You share the positive numbers, but you immediately open the floor to ask for feedback. This shows you are not just looking for a pat on the back, but that you care about your long-term growth and want to do even better next time. Let's listen to how this final meeting sounds between Anna and Thomas.
Thomas, I am glad to share that our regional product launch is officially complete, and we reached a 17% increase in active users, which is just above our original target.
That is fantastic news, Anna. The team did a wonderful job keeping everything on track.
Thank you, Thomas. Since we wrap this up, I would love to hear your thoughts on how I managed the timeline during our shipping vendor issue. Are there any specific areas where you think I can improve for our next project?
I really liked how you brought me solutions instead of just problems, Anna. For the next project, I think you can start training a junior team member to help you with the logistics so you can focus even more on the planning side.
That is a great suggestion. I will start preparing a training outline for that next week. Thank you for your guidance.
Wow, Anna, that was a very smart move. It leaves such a positive impression.
It really does, Thomas. By using that approach, you show the manager that you are a professional who always wants to learn. Look at the specific phrase we used. I would love to hear your thoughts on, are there any specific areas where you think I can improve?
Yes, that is incredibly professional. Instead of asking a vague question like, did I do a good job? Which usually just gets a simple yes, you asked for specific areas to improve. This invites your manager to give you constructive advice that actually helps your career.
Exactly. And by pointing back to the shipping vendor issue, you subtly reminded Thomas of how well you handled a difficult situation without sounding like you were bragging.
And look at what Thomas offered in return. He suggested you start training a junior colleague. That is a clear sign that he sees your leadership potential and is preparing you for a higher role. A simple 5-minute conversation can help you build long-term career growth.
Now that we have covered all 4 stages of a project, let's practice the core phrases together. We selected 4 phrases from today's discussion to help you practice pronunciation and rhythm.
We will read each phrase in a unique way. First, Anna will read the phrase slowly.
Then, Thomas will repeat it at a natural conversation speed. Finally, we will leave a short pause for you to speak out loud. Let's start with the phrase for receiving an unclear task. Phrase number 1.
To ensure we are on the same page regarding the final goals, could you share the specific numbers or targets you want us to reach?
To ensure we are on the same page regarding the final goals, could you share the specific numbers or targets you want us to reach?
Great! Moving on to the phrase for sharing a delay along with alternatives.
Phrase number 2.
We hit a small delay. However, I already reached out to an alternate supplier who can deliver on time.
We hit a small delay. However, I already reached out to an alternate supplier who can deliver on time.
Excellent. Let's practice the first part of the phrase for managing your workload when you are given too much work.
Phrase number 3.
Since I am currently finalizing our main launch plan today, should I pause that task to focus on this financial report first?
Since I am currently finalizing our main launch plan today, should I pause that task to focus on this financial report first?
Perfect. And finally, our phrase to ask for constructive feedback at the end of a project.
Phrase number 4.
I would love to hear your thoughts on my performance. Are there any specific areas where you think I can improve for our next project?
I would love to hear your thoughts on my performance. Are there any specific areas where you think I can improve for our next project?
You did an amazing job practicing those phrases today. Professional communication is not about using big, fancy vocabulary words. It is simply about being clear, calm, and supportive with your manager.
Exactly. When you ask for clear targets, bring solutions instead of complaints, protect your workload with facts, and invite honest feedback, you build a strong professional image. You focus on being a responsible and cooperative team member.
Before we close, we want to share a quick but important reminder. Every workplace and culture is a bit different. The phrases we share today are broad examples to help you practice English. It is always a good idea to look at your specific office environment and adapt your language to fit your unique team.
That is very true. These examples are for educational purposes, so feel free to choose the words that feel right for your situation.
Now, we would love to hear from you. Which of these 4 situations do you find the most difficult at your own job? Is it asking for clear instructions, or is it talking about workload? Let us know by leaving a comment below.
We read all your stories and will answer your questions in the comment section. If you found this discussion helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Business English for Success so you do not miss our next weekly conversation.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Have a wonderful week at the office, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!